We know the expansion draft is scheduled for April 3rd, which is this upcoming week, y'all. The coin toss is scheduled for tomorrow to see which team go first. Guess who's back in the headlines 24 hours today? Sophie Cunningham. Now, there's articles coming out about Sophie, and
April 3rd. That's the date every Indiana Fever fan has circled because the expansion draft is about to shake everything up. The roster we've watched all season could be split apart in an instant. And right at the center of it all is Sophie Cunningham, the veteran who became Caitlin Clark's enforcer and quickly won over the entire fan base. A recent report from Sports Illustrated suggests the Fever may not protect her, and the reasoning behind it reveals a deeper, more strategic side of how expansion drafts really work.
front office really wasn't feeling the Sophie Cunningham aura, I should say. The Sophie Cunningham love that was coming out. Her love for Caitlin Clark. They wasn't feeling that, man. Now, for whatever reason, we all can look at the Indiana Fever with different sets of eyes and question different things that they do in regards to Caitlin Clark. But to question Sophie Cunningham authority and wanting to protect Caitlin Clark.
Here's where it gets tricky. In the expansion draft, each team can only protect 5 players. For the Indiana Fever, 4 of those spots are automatic. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Kelsey Mitchell. The 5th spot, that's where things get really interesting. It comes down to Sophie Cunningham, basketball player, versus Damiris Dantas.
In Indy. The game is going down in Indy. Now, this is the article right here from Sports Illustrated. And it states, why Fever are unlikely to protect Sophie Cunningham in WNBA expansion draft. Whoa. Bombshell. This is major for the Sophie.
Here's where the Indiana Fever front office is playing a strategic game. Sophie Cunningham is 29 and will be an unrestricted free agent. If Toronto or Portland selects her, they'll have to extend a contract offer, and she could match it or negotiate. But here's the key. Indiana can only designate one core player this offseason, and that spot is almost certainly going to Kelsey Mitchell to lock her in. That means Sophie won't have the leverage to demand a huge contract from the Fever in free agency anyway. The front office is taking a calculated gamble. They're betting that even if an expansion team could draft Sophie, they're unlikely to spend their one unrestricted free agent pick on a 29-year-old role player when younger talent is available. It's a risk, but one grounded in smart draft economics.
It'll be hard for Indiana Fever fans to part ways with Sophie Cunningham. Definitely will be, man. Damn. While the 29-year-old veteran only spent 2025 season with the Fever and missed a solid chunk of games with an injury, she did many things to endure herself to Indiana Fever's loyal fan base. Perhaps the 2 most important were being a spark plug and serving as a star guard, Caitlin Clark enforcer, which earned her notoriety from the women's.
But let's break down what Sophie Cunningham really brought to the Indiana Fever, because the stats alone don't tell the full story. She missed a chunk of games due to injury, so her numbers don't exactly leap off the page. What made her truly invaluable was something you can't capture in a box score. She became Caitlin Clark's protector. In a rookie season where Clark faced relentless physical play, Sophie was the veteran who would step in, take technical fouls if necessary, and send a clear message. That role earned her a distinct reputation across women's basketball. Some fans called her tough, others called her aggressive, but Fever fans? They embraced her fully. She understood her assignment and executed it without hesitation.
That type of stuff could go left unsaid. Now, these are the reasons why Sports Illustrated believe the Indiana Fever will not be protecting Sophie Cunningham at all. At all. Goes on to say why Fever protecting Sophie Cunningham doesn't make sense. The rules for the upcoming WNBA expansion draft for the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire were revealed on March 25th as expected teams.
And here's what's been simmering behind the scenes all season. Back in August, reports emerged suggesting the Indiana Fever front office wasn't entirely comfortable with Sophie Cunningham's approach. Specifically, they weren't thrilled with the level of vocal protection she was giving Caitlin Clark, the optics, the attention it drew. Some in the organization apparently felt it was too aggressive, too likely to spark controversy. Think about that for a second, questioning a veteran's authority to protect a rookie, especially one like Caitlin Clark, who was constantly targeted physically, feels completely off base. Sophie was doing exactly what a seasoned player is supposed to do, and yet the front office was uneasy. That tension speaks volumes about the priorities and mindset within the organization.
Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham wearing matching outfits. Now, it's no secret that the team, grown close since having Sophie Cunningham on the ball club. But it is going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Now, we have to talk about this right here. This right here is an extra game that was announced a few hours ago from the Indiana Fever.
Now, let's dive into today's other big news, and it's fascinating from a business and competitive perspective. The Indiana Fever just added an extra preseason game on May 2nd against the Nigeria women's national basketball team at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, with tickets going on sale March 30th. This joins their previously scheduled games, April 25th at New York and April 29th at home against Dallas. What makes the Nigeria matchup especially noteworthy is that they're ranked 8th in the world and feature stars like Azin Kalu, fresh off a recent gold medal. This isn't a casual exhibition, it's a serious test against elite international competition.
Second and at 7 p.m. at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tickets will go on sale to the general public March 30th at 2 p.m. With pre-sale opportunities for MVPs beginning earlier in the day. Information on pre-sale access and timing will be communication directly to MVPs. Nigeria is currently ranked number 8 in the world with DT. I'm not even finna do it. Most recent winning goal.
And the timing of this announcement is no coincidence. The Fever are adding games simply because they can. Demand is off the charts. Caitlin Clark's presence alone allows them to sell out Gainbridge Fieldhouse for a preseason matchup against a top international team in early May. That's unprecedented. Most WNBA franchises struggle to fill seats even for regular season games. Indiana, meanwhile, is stacking exhibition games and confidently expecting sellouts. This is the Caitlin Clark effect at its clearest. On the business side, the franchise is thriving. Ticket sales, sponsorships, merchandise, they're all booming. Yet on the basketball operations side, decisions about roster construction risk alienating the very fan base fueling this surge. The contrast couldn't be sharper.